Hey, hello. Hello, how are you, everybody? Uh, greetings. Greetings from Antalya, Turkey. How are you guys? I'm good, thank you, thank you. Uh, we will do it this way. First, please confirm if the broadcast is fine. Do you hear me well? Can you see me well? Please confirm. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hi. You can type on the chat window to confirm that the broadcast is fine. Please let me know. And I also would like to know who is with us. Say hello, please, and confirm the broadcast is fine. Do you hear me well? Do you see me well? We are now 5 people, which is good. Type something to the chat window, please. I'll see it with a refreshment. Okay. Can any one of you please confirm the broadcasting is fine? Hey, hello everybody, do you hear me? Is the broadcast is fine? Do you hear my voice? Can you see me with no problem? Let's wait for a short while, a couple of minutes, and then during this while we share our greetings. Okay? Hello, hello. There's still no one with no text. Please, guys, please confirm. Yes, everything is good. First confirmation has arrived. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Paleo Margi. Thank you, Kenan Bey. Okay, we spent a couple of minutes together with the greetings. I sent a few messages today. They were very late invitations, actually. And one of those invitees is Dr. Mustafa Waziri from Egypt, the Egyptian head of the Supreme Council of Antiquities. Dr. Mustafa Waziri, the Egyptian head of the Supreme Council of Antiquities. And the other person that I with my very late invitation, Dr. Campbell Price from Manchester University, Museum of Golden Mummies. She's an Egyptologist. Dr. Mustafa is also an Egyptologist. I invited them so that they could join us, so that they could contribute to the discussion of tonight, which is a rehearsal, I repeat. What does rehearsal mean? It means I will make a short video of this introduction of chemistry of immortality, something like 20-30 minutes, like a documentary, but with this live as just like I did last week in Turkish with my followers, we will share our knowledge on ancient Egyptian mummification techniques, and of course, what we think about immortality. We will talk about this tonight. We are some 8 people now. Yes. And it's not a big deal. Many people watch us now or not. We will have a record for future interests of everyone in the world. So this is not limited to any specific people or nation. This is about us all. Everyone in the world has to know that he or she is immortal. And this is a new, fascinating new find. And we will develop this idea, all right, together, with all contributions from you. I will give you the basics of the idea. There are some other things that I know, but I cannot share with you at the moment. I have to reconfirm, recheck my finds. But whatever I tell you at this live is going to be quite sufficient for you to come up with the idea and develop it to further extend the immortality, chemistry of immortality. It's already been 7 minutes. All right. So we passed the first section, that is the greetings. Now we'll do it like this. I will tell you my story, how immortality have come to me. You have to follow my telling. Thank you. Smile forever. You have to follow me. You shouldn't leave me behind. In the second part, we are already in it. You shouldn't leave me behind, and you shouldn't stay behind of me, okay? We will walk through the path side by side, shoulder by shoulder. I will tell you my story, how immortality has found me, okay? Then in the next part, which is the final section, I will read your comments, ideas, objections, contributions, or if there are any questions, I will try to answer them to the best of my knowledge, all right? Now, shortly and firstly, let me introduce you who I am. This is Kamil Kartal. I'm 51 years old. I live in Antalya, Turkey. And I'm an official translator between English and Turkish languages. And I have been working on, individually, I've been working on English etymology and also on Turkish etymology of our vocabularies for longer than 2 decades, actually, 23, 24 years. Professionally, but individually, I've been working on the etymology of English vocabulary and Turkish vocabulary. And I compiled an etymological dictionary, which is published on my website. You can see its link on the descriptions, güneşdilakademisi.com, which is now some 11,000 words already. This is English-Turkish altogether, World Languages Etymological Dictionary, okay? And during this while, 25 years almost, I established some weird, unknown, undiscussed, not discussed connections between English language and Turkish language. And I have reached to such a level that it's almost like the English language is almost like a far dialect of Turkish language. And of course, yes, we are talking about immortality, but how? And what is the relation between words of two different languages with immortality? Now I will tell you my story. While in such a long time, while analyzing words of English language, this was not planned. What I mean, most of the words were taken randomly into analysis, okay, randomly. So I didn't follow a list of words while I was analyzing English words with their etymologies and their hardly visible connections with Turkish words or their Turkish equivalents. So in time, throughout so long years, some of those words have clustered themselves. They generated automatically some small clusters, and this is like a big puzzle, like jigsaw puzzle of 10,000 pieces. So some of those words created, automatically generated in my mind, some little clusters scattered around in the big puzzle, in the big picture. Now, the immortality topic has come to me, sorry, maybe I have to warn my dogs. I heard a noise like there's a fight. Wait a minute. Okay. Wait a minute, sorry. This knocking on the window is a warning, so they heard me, hopefully. Yes, some of those words of English language, while I was analyzing them, they automatically generated a cloudy cluster. Thank you, Süheyl Bey. And we will go through these words quickly. I won't take much of your time, don't worry. But we have to see them to understand what I'm talking about and to see the physical and chemical structure of, or existence, solid existence of immortality, all right? Yeah, one of these words is called hibernation. It's an English word. It's in daily use, in scientific use, an English word, but it's obscure. It's obscure. So in Turkish we call it winter sleep, kış uykusu. But the word hibernation in English itself doesn't say it, winter sleep. It's just hibernate, hibernation, and the etymology of this word is obscure, unknown, uncertain. So I started working, focusing on this word years ago. Maybe it was 2014. Let's quickly go through the words, cluster list of words. One of them is, as I told you, hibernation. The other one is nebula, psyche, potion, like poison, gills of the fishes, gill, soul, S-O-U-L, soul, water, animal, chemistry, and of course alchemy, elixir, spirit, steam, science, cloud, breath or breathe, American British, exhale, boil. Actually, this cluster is much larger than what I shortly listed now. But these words have something in common. Friends, listen to me very carefully for yourself, not for me, because I already know immortality. Now I am going to express this to you so that you will also have an idea what immortality in chemical sense, in physical sense is, all right? So follow me very carefully. What is the common feature of this cluster of words? Now, I will shortly summarize this to you. Like the short list, the summary will also, the common features of this short list of words will also be short. Those words in English language are of unknown origin. I repeat, this clustered list of words in English language are of unknown origin. Their etymologies, most of the time, we will see several of them now, after this introduction, are explained with the word possibly, which means it's not sure. We have some idea, but we are not sure of it. It means possibly. Item number 1, of unknown origin. Item number 2, possibly. Item number 3, in the common features of this short list of words, perhaps suggested, you know, almost synonym with possibly. Said to be, item number 4, of unknown origin, possibly, perhaps, suggested, said to be, item number 4. So, again, synonym. Sorry. Wait a minute. Hey! Be careful. Yeah, sorry. This may happen several times, so don't take it as a problem. Don't take it. Item number 5, so-called, a definition, a long verbosity, sophistry, after a long sophistry in the etymological definition, explanation of the word. So-called, item number 5, so-called by the late grammarians. Item number 6, according to Kent. Beekes says it's not. 5, 6, 7, according to Watkins. 8, 9, alleged to be off. Item number 10, reconstructed ancestry. So these phrases are given in the etymological dictionaries of this clustered short list of words. So whatever they are, the long sophistry, verbosity of their explanations, even the linguists of English language, even the etymologists of English language don't know what they are. What are the origins of those words? Now, let me step back and repeat that list of clustered words to you so that you will now have a better understanding what we are talking about. Hibernation, unknown origin, uncertain etymology, said to be, alleged of, to be of, according to this, or what was it? Reconstructed, imaginary, not scientifically, reconstructed ancestry, hypothetical source. Hypothetical means imaginary, all right? Let's go back again to the list. Hibernation, nebula, potion, dust, psyche, lungs, lung, gill, vapor, nirvana, which is already not an English word anyway, soul, water, animal, chemistry, elixir, spirit, steam, science, cloud, exhale, boil, breath, animal. So in the normal daily language, scientific, political, friendly, formal, informal, whatever, in the daily language of English people, English speakers, they have these words, but they don't know the origin, the story of those words. And my job, my personal interest, is the etymology, to find out the real meaning of hibernation, of animal, the real story of the word animal, from which stage to what stage it changed, into what morphological and semantic forms. And as I told you, it's been almost 25 years now to figure out such words. And the total number that I already published is higher than 11,500 words that I analyzed linguistically with a scientific methodology. I analyzed, deciphered those words against their equivalents in Turkish language, all right? And as I wanted to express or focus on that meaning, these words were random in different times, in different years, with a long distance between one and the other. There are lots of others not connected, not clustered together. So many words, after a long period of time, have automatically generated a cluster, a cloudy cluster in my mind. And you know the words now. Almost a month and a half ago, from this day, I was reading Egyptian Book of Dead. And one of the words attracted my attention in the Book of Dead, Egyptian Book of Dead. One of the words, originally ancient Egyptian words, attracted my attention. That word was about the afterlife and the mummification process. That is, in English we call it as an Arabic word or Persian word, mummy, mummification, mummify. But of course ancient Egyptians didn't know Persian, Arabic. They didn't know English. So in their own language, there was another word describing the process of mummification, or the final product that you receive at the end of this process, which is a 70 days process, by the way, 70, 7-0. And this word in ancient Egyptian language is sa. So we call it in English language mummification, but ancient Egyptians didn't call it mummification, of course. They said sa. And the whole process of 70 days is called sa. The final product that you have at the end is also called sa. Now, this is also added to that cluster of words, cloudy cluster of words. Because sa, the word sa of ancient Egyptians, have a meaning in Turkish. And this is quite fascinating, I have to tell. You know what it means in Turkish? It means alive. Now please go to translate.google.com and I will type it here in this window. You just copy, paste, source language, Turkish, target language, English, all right? The word is this. First, wait a minute. Translate google.com. Go to here, please. Source, Turkish, target, English. Into source, type this word. And look what it says to you in English. Sa. Sa means alive. The first meaning, actually. There is also a second meaning of this word sa in Turkish, which is obviously still the same second meaning in ancient Egyptian. It means milking a cow. Milking a cow. The first one that I typed on the chat window, you will see its English equivalent as alive. Now, the second one is this. Saum. Saum. There is nothing worth to see here. You just listen to me on one hand, open a new browser, go to translate.google.com, source language Turkish, target language English, type in the first line sa in Turkish. You will see it's going to be translated as alive. Type the second word, saum, in the source parts section, Turkish. It's going to translate it to you as milking. Milking. There is a third meaning of the word sa, which is the right hand, okay? The right side. But we don't have much to do with it now. Our focus is on the name that is given by the ancient Egyptians originally by the ancient Egyptians to the mummification process, that is sa. Sa and saum, okay? The suffix at the end of sa is a Turkish suffix like yapım, çekim, ölüm, kalım. So the stem, the source of the word is still sa again. So sağım means milking a cow or a goat, whatever. So what I noticed when I first realized this originally ancient Egyptian word sa, the figures popped up in my mind or about the mummification process. That is, the priests on the hieroglyphic tellings on the walls, on the papyruses, the priests were massaging the body of the dead, the deceased. They are doing with naked hands on the naked body of the deceased. They are kneading the body. They are massaging the body of the dead. Why is that? This is a question that is still unknown. The answer is still unknown. Most of the people thought it to be necrophilia, the love and making sex with the dead bodies, which is, of course, a wrong understanding and misconception because of incomplete knowledge on the history of ancient Egypt. So people, the Egyptologists, I'm addressing especially, particularly to those people now, you don't know the cultural understanding of the ancient Egyptians on the dead. And so you misinterpreted the situation of massaging of the dead body, kneading the body as a whole, is or should be a necrophilia problem, a religious distortion of those ancient people, which is wrong and incomplete. Why? Because when they are kneading the dead body, the corpse, when they are massaging, their purpose is to remove the body fluids. This is quite interesting because when you milk the cow, what do you get into the box? What do you get? The milk. So you take the milk out by kneading, by milking the breast of the cows. No? So, what is the purpose of removing the body fluids of the deceased, of the dead, of the corpse? And what will it give to you at the end? Is it to prevent the bacterialization process? Because if there is the body fluid still inside, it will soon get roasted quickly due to bacteria. So what they wanted to do is not for the dead body. There's something beyond that. And it is more about the body fluid, not the body itself. Because, simply because, the body has nothing to do with the afterlife. But the fluid in the body has many things to do with the next voyage, or you can call it reincarnation. What I mean is this. We all have body fluids, and we are living. And this body, the body fluids in our bodies is alive like we are alive. How the body fluid is alive? The answer is this. by electrolytes. What are those electrolytes in the body fluids? Simple. It is potassium, phosphorus, magnesium, sulfate, chloride, of course sodium, that is natron. So these chemical elements, that is called electrolytes, are keeping the body alive in the body fluid. So remember what they say, the life began in waters. No? Whatever scientific documentary about history, life, cosmology you read or you watch, this is the entrance wording. Remember that. The life began in waters. Yeah, that's true. The life begins in waters. But did water die? It's a very serious question. Did water die? Or did life die? A funny question in English morphology, maybe. But did life die? No, it didn't die. Water didn't die. Life didn't die. So if the life began in waters, it's still living. And this body is alive because the water fluids has its electrolytes. It's alive. So in ancient Egyptian culture, when the body was dead due to whatever reason, their first purpose, their first object, target, was to take the fluid out of the body and to keep it in jars. And in those jars, not only the inner organs, entrails of the deceased or the corpse, not only the brain taken out by an anchor from the nose, not only the brain, not only the entrails, inner organs, internal organs, but mainly the fluid in the lungs, the gastral fluid in the stomach, the blood, the urine was taken out into the jars. Sorry. Wait a minute. Yeah, therapy, sağım, iyileştirme. This is another meaning of the word sağım. By the way, thank you, Paleo Margi. So the intention of devotering or drying the corpse, the deceased, dead body, was not to stop or prevent bacterialization and roosting of the body quickly, because they did not have much to do with the rest of the body. That you see my body, they don't have anything to do with me. What they have something to do with is the fluid in my body. The life begins in waters, right? And I realized that the ancient Egyptians, reserving and protecting the entrails in the jars, they used a lot of chemicals, not only natron. Just pay attention to all documentaries talking about the mummification process of ancient Egyptians, which we know only a little thing, you know, because they didn't write in the hieroglyphs. They didn't tell how to do the technique of mummification. So we just come up with wrong ideas, assumptions, you know. We don't know how they did it. But it is obviously understood that the ancient Egyptians' intention by removing entrails, internal organs, and reserving them in jars was to take out the liquid, the fluid of the brain, of the lungs, of the intestines, whatever fluid the human body has. And they used not only natron, that is sodium, they used also magnesium. So there should be an amazing 5,000 years old, an amazing formula to keep the body fluid live. Thank you, Mahmoud. Thank you. To keep the body fluid live, you know? And it's a very, very advanced, it requires a very highly advanced knowledge of chemistry. How did I come up to this idea? Interesting, okay. How did I come up with this idea? That the ancient Egyptians' mummification reason had nothing to do with the body, but the bodily fluids. Because, remember the short list of clustered words in the early part of this live. All of those words meaning something in total, that is that cloudy cluster is about water. Animal, the word, the English word animal is about water. I'll tell you how. The English word hibernation, hibernate, is about water. I will tell you how it is in a minute. Be patient. Go with me. The English word breath, breathe, American British, is about water. Vapor is about water. Soul is about water. Its equivalent in Arabic is ruh, R-U-H. Ruh is about water. I will tell you in a minute how and why it's about water. Psyche, psychology, psychiatry is about water. Let me tell you more. Atmosphere, of course, it's about water. Elixir, of course, it's water. It's a potion that you drink and you are immortal. Let's extend more, a few more. How I came up with the idea that the ancient Egyptians had nothing to do with the corpse, but their main purpose, main focus was on the bodily fluids. Because in the Book of Dead, in the Egyptian Book of Dead, there are 4 letters. The letter of Ani, the letter of Horus, they're named, these letters, these chapters, these spells are named breathing permit. And this permit is not given to any family members of the dead. This breathing permit, the name is very eye-opening, is given to the soul of the dead. The guy is dead, husband or wife, child or relative, whatever. The guy is dead, and the breathing permit is given to the soul of the dead body. So now, please tell me, an English etymologist, an English lexicographer, an English linguist, please tell me, how did you have this word in your language? Soul, S-O-U-L. How did you have it? Its equivalent in Arabic language is ruh, which is said to be Proto-Hebrew rak, something. So, soul in English, ruh in Arabic. How? Not only English specialists, but also Arabic linguists. Please tell me further, not wild guesses, not said-to-bes, not perhapses. How did you come up with the word soul in your languages? Because the reason of this question has a lot of things to do with immortality. And because in Turkish we have a word, I'll type it here now onto chat window, solu, and it means breath. So solu and soul are exactly identical. S-O-U-L of English language is identically same with S-O-L-U of Turkish. Because when you solu, that is Turkish breath, you're alive. But when the last exhale leaves the body, last breathing leaves the body, nothing happens to air, nothing happens to water. It's only the body dead. And your identity, your memories, your conscious, your awareness is not in the body. It's in the fluid of the brain. It's in the fluids of the body. So that's why in the mummification technique, the ancient Egyptians removed all entrails, internal organs, including the brain, with the help of a hook from the nose, removed the brain. They protected them in some jars of glass or granite, I don't know. And they used some chemicals into the jars. They poured some chemicals into the jars to extract the fluid of the organ. That is the brain fluid, cerebral something, brain fluid. All the glands in the body, the sweat, the urine, the gastral fluid, the blood, they used to evaporize the substance, the essence, and they kept it in another common jar. So every individual part that is the organ of the deceased, of the dead body, is kept in individual jars. Some chemical formula applied into every individual jar to extract and evaporize the fluid from that individual jar. And at the end, in a common jar, glass or granite or other substance, material, they applied another formula. And all those formulas are exact equivalents of the living body's electrolytes. Potassium, magnesium, chloride, sodium, phosphorus. Okay? So, when the body dies, for whatever reason, And if it is quickly taken to the mummification process, you can take off, you can extract the body fluid, which at that moment the fluid, the bodily fluid is inactive, is let's say sleeping. It's not dying any means. So the body has died recently, but the fluid is still inside. When dying is this, the electrolyte, let me explain it to you in easier way. Electrolyte means charge, you know. Just it's like you plug in the cable of your phone into the power and the battery is charged up. So electrolytes are the are the electric of the body. So when a person dies, the body dies, but the fluid is in sleeping mode for a certain time. If you can contact, if you can touch, that means extraction of the fluid out of the body, and preserve it, protect it in a jar, and put some chemical elements into those jars, you can still keep it active. So remember the English word soul, and remember the Turkish word solu. Remember the English word hibernation, a stupid word. Nobody knows where it came up from. Nobody knows. So the English people talks about it, but they don't know what hibernation is. Let me tell you, hibernation is an anagram of breath. Actually, hiber is an anagram of breath. Or hibernate is breath in. So breath itself, breathe itself, is another Turkish word that is buhar. It means vapor. Buhar. Hibernation is itself an anagram of breath in, and breath itself is buhar edin. And you see it. And the definition in the given etymology of the word animal, it describes this meaning perfectly well. Let's read it together loudly. I'll give you how you can follow. Please go to www.etimonline.com and type animal. We will read it together now. Where? Okay, animal. The word animal in English language is a noun. And it means any living creature. Any living creature. Early 14th century, any living creature, including humans. And this word comes from Latin animale. Which means living being. But now it goes further. It says being which breathes. Noun use of neuter of animalis, which is the crazy important note. That is an adjective. I'll tell you why it's crazy important. It means animate, move, animate, living, but of the air. Living animal means animalis as an adjective. It means living of the air. Further crazy important knowledge, information. Wait a minute, sorry. Which is another crazy information. it continues. It says from anima, which means breath, soul. And oh my goodness, look what it says. A current of air. It gives a wild guess to reconstruct an imaginary connection of the word animalis, Latin word animalis, to make it a European word. It says from Proto-Indo-European root, possibly, it doesn't say it, I added, possibly ane, which means to breath. No. First of all, there is no one single Proto-Indo-European word known to us other than imaginations, hypothetical, imaginary reconstructions. We don't know any of the Proto-Indo-European words. No document, no written records, nothing we have at hand. It's just a hypothetical, imaginary reconstruction. So there is no ane, root, because there is no Proto-Indo-European language, which is supposed to mean to breath. When you look at the adjective form of the animal, of the word animal in Latin, it is animalis. And now I type to this chat window a word, then you will also be wide open, eyes wide open, you know what I mean? I will type a word. First, animalis. This is the proposed, suggested origin of the English word animal, coming from Latin, adjective animalis. Look at this word. Now please look at this word. Now go to translate.google.com and you will type the second one, the last one on the chat window, solunum. See what it means. I'll show you. I'll go to Google Translate. Turkish. Solunum. Turkish is the source. English version of this Turkish word, solunum, animalis, solunum, animalis. May I repeat it for 1,000 times? Would you mind if I? Solunum, animalis, solunum, animalis, solunum, animalis. Do you see the structure, the skeleton of the word? Do you see it? For the word, translation of the word solunum in Turkish source, it says respiratory in the English target. So change it, solumak, and see what it is. I'll type it here as well. Solumak. Type solumak in Google Translate in the Turkish source and see what it says in English. It says breath. So, please tell me, isn't it weird? A Turkish word is in a distorted form in the English etymology dictionary for the word animalis. Solunum is respiratory, solumak is to breath, and animalis is described as moving of the air, current of air, to breath, supposed to be Proto-Indo-European. Now, where did we come here from? From where did we come here? We came here from the English word soul. And that S-O-U-L is solu. Now type into Google Translate again, solu. It says left, because sa is right, sol is left. So let's say soludu, use the past verb form, soludu, breath, he breathed, he breathed it. See, solu, sol, solu, sol. Now, we will have some other examples, as I promised. I said I will give you in a minute. It's now more than 10 minutes. I'm sorry for that. But let's say, look at the etymology in the etymonline.com website. Look at the etymology of the word atmosphere. Look, please have a look at the etymology of the word atmosphere. It says, I'm reading it live, 1630s, atmosphere, modern form from 1670s. So it's such a new word for you, not for us, the Turks. Gaseous envelope surrounding the earth. From modern Latin atmosphere, from Greek atmos. Look, this is the etymology, the given established so-called etymology of the word atmosphere. It says from Greek atmos, which means vapor, steam. See, atmo, it has a link, which we will click now, plus sphaira, that is sphere. See, another clickable word, that is, and see, sphere. In old science, vaporous air. Whose science is it? In old science, vaporous air, which was considered as a part of the earth and the contamination of the lower part of the air, which is another clickable word, air. Now, so when you look at it as atmosphere, the Western English etymological resources attribute this word to Greeks. But when you click on atmo, the first part, do you know what it says? Do you want to know what it says? It says atmo, word forming element meaning vapor, from Greek atmos, that is vapor, steam, and it says which is of uncertain origin. So actually it's not Greek. It is just supposed to be, suggested to be Greek. But Greeks also don't know what atmo is. Huh? Now, and it goes like, Watkins has it from Proto-Indo-European oetmo, from root wet, that is wet, which means to blow in Proto-Indo-European, also to inspire, spiritually arouse, see wood, adjective. BKS says it's not considered to be related to the source of Atman of Hindus, Atman of Hindus. This is just pure sophistry. guys, I have to say, this is just pure sophistry, verbosity. And there is a very dirty game played here. When you go back one page, when you look at the etymology of the English word atmosphere, it was said to be of Greek origin. But when you click on the parts of the word, that is atmo and sphere, we didn't go there yet. Atmo is of uncertain origin, so it's not Greek. So there is a dark game, a dirty game here. If it's not of Greek origin, what origin should it be? Should it be ancient Egyptian? Should it be Turkish origin? Who is hiding what from whom and for what reason? This is a very, very serious question about immortality, because we will get there. We are already there, but we will get even further into it in a couple of minutes. So, if atmo of atmosphere is of obscure, uncertain, unknown origin, etymology, how can we trust the morphology, the form of the word atmo? Obviously, or there is a high possibility that it's not atmo. It's a probably, I have to say it now, it's probably an intentional distorted form of another original word of an unknown source. Now please go back to translategoogle.com and type this word and see what it says. I'll write it here. So this is the word atmo, okay? The skeleton of this word is TM. Forget about A and O, the beginning and the end. The vowels are not counted as structural parts of or skeletonic parts of the words. So atmo is made of TM in the consonantal structure, okay? Atmo is made of TM, and there is a word in Turkish language which is dem, and it means vapor. Now please try to remember what they said for atmosphere. A vapor, a lower section of the vapor, evaporized air surrounding the planet Earth. So it's vapor. And dem, the structure of this word is diem now. You see, dem means vapor in Turkish. But what did the Western linguists, etymologists do by hiding this? First, they attributed it to the Greeks by dividing it into parts as atmo and sphere. They said atmo is of Greek origin. When you clicked on atmo, it says of uncertain etymology. So it's not Greek. It's also Turkish. It's also ancient Egyptian, probably. Because in ancient Egyptian, remember the name of the mummification process. It's Sa. S-A, soft G, or H, the same. Doesn't matter. Soft G and H are voiceless consonants. You don't say them. You don't pronounce them. You know? And if a language in its alphabet does not have the soft G as we have in Turkish, the closest equivalent of that phoneme, the soft G, is he, ash. So who transliterated the papyrus or ancient Egyptian papyruses have seen the word sa with soft G at the end. And since they didn't have the letter corresponding to that phoneme in their language, that is Western English language, let's say, even the French, no other language in the world has soft G letter. It's only Turkish. And soft G is this. Let me show you. Sa. I don't say he at the end. Sa. If I want to say he at the end, it becomes sah. So it's the harder form of soft G. Soft G. So soft G is the softer form of he. He. Ha. Ha. Sah. Sa. So you see the alveolar change in the mouth and pronunciation of it. You know, sa, sa, sa. He is an exhaling, a breathing out, a current of air stronger than sa. In sa, the air still stands in your mouth. It doesn't come out, okay? So I'm describing it to you in detail so that you can imagine easily and you can imitate it. Sa, sa, okay? So the ancient Egyptian word sa is the same meaning with Turkish, even Old Turkish. Maybe I don't use that word for Turkish, but even in Proto-Turkish, it is sa. It means alive. So when the mummification applied to the corpse, the deceased, the dead body, it is milked. The water is extracted or was extracted out of the body because the valuable, the worthy part of the body is water. The bodily fluid is the value of the individual, of the identity. And that's how you can have a spell. That's how you can invite, send a letter, write a letter to the dead person, the individual, breathing permit for Anis, Horus, Ras, and Ammons. 4 different supreme gods in the pantheon. They are writing a letter of breathing permit to the dead soul, solu, to the breath. And in the practice, some of you may know already, that bodily fluids were put into the fields of reeds or into the river Nile, or maybe somewhere on the shores of Alexandria into the Mediterranean Ocean. But it is obviously this. I will explain it to you. When the full extent of the bodily fluids are extracted from the corpse, they can, with a chemical formula, be reactivated, awakened. What did I say previously? When the body is dead, it is the bodily fluid for a short while goes into a sleeping mode because of the electrolytes dysfunctioning. So when you take the fluid out of the corpse and protect it in a jar, which is supported with some chemical elements like potassium, magnesium, sulfate, chloride, and phosphorus, so it will be awakened again. So easy, so simple. But what is the ratio of the chemicals? What is the ratio of the mixture or elements? I have some ideas, but I cannot tell it to you at the moment because I have to work more on my theory. But I have given you a quite good basics of what the mummification was for. It was not for the body, it was for the body fluid. And this discussion, this topic has been a recent discussion on my Facebook page that I opened with a tabella message, and it was welcomed by a large audience. Many people shared their objections, contributions, comments, questions, and there I have seen some links as well from my followers. So, and one of those links guided me to a person, a late person whose name is Masari Emoto. I have never heard of this guy, a Japanese guy, before. So I didn't know who this guy is, but followed the comments coming from my followers, and I realized by watching some videos and reading some articles about this guy, he's the person who discovered that water has a memory. Sorry, wait a minute. So, yeah, what we know about water is, in my opinion, nothing. 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen molecules joined together. Nobody knows how it happened. It's just a compound molecule, and it's physical. But we don't know anything about water yet. Or some dark hands know a lot more, but they don't share it with public. So everything is about water. Water is the key to immortality. And remember what it says in Samuel, in the 2nd book of Samuel, in the Old Testament. What happens to us, guys, when we die is this. I will read it to you. Where is it? Where is it? Sorry. Not this, not that. Did I close it? Okay, let's go to Samuel. Book of Samuel 2:14. I will read it to you. Look what it says. What happens to us when we die is this: for we must needs die, and are as water spilled on the ground. Let me type it here, you can also see. The book of Samuel in Old Testament, Torah, Samuel 2nd book, 14. So it reads, like water spilled on the ground, which cannot be recovered. So we must die, it says. Unfortunately, this is a product of Abrahamic teachings. And for the last minimum, for the last 2000 years, it is what happened to us. We died, we were buried underground. And the fluid in our body, just like the second book of Samuel 14:14 reads, like water, it is us. Samuel is not talking about rainwater. It's talking about my bodily fluid. Like water spilled on the ground, which will happen after I die, which cannot be recovered, so we must die. So this is how he suggests us, proposes us, wants us to die. And this is what is being done for the last 2000 years in the Abrahamic practice of teachings. So this is happening to us. When we are buried in the ground, underground, soon our bodily fluids with the dysfunction of electrolytes, quickly leaves the body and goes into the ground. So it means it's like the trilogy. You remember the unbreakable split, unbreakable split, and glass of Shyamalan. In that trilogy, it reads, it says, the soul, the source of the breath, the fluid, the bodily fluid has gone into the ground and scattered like a broken glass, and it will be evaporated again back to the atmosphere. No? But this will simply mean our soul, our identity, our knowledge, our memories, our conscious, our awareness will be splitted into 1,000 pieces like a broken glass. And what happens is still within the atmosphere. So the bodily fluid cannot go out anywhere else. It's still within the atmosphere, that is, we call it dem küre. Dem küre. Its literal translation into Turkish is dem küre. So the evaporated bodily fluid stays within the atmosphere limits and recycles with the wind. It's now freely traveling, and in 1,000 pieces, it's split it into 1,000 pieces, and it goes to France, another one goes to China, some part comes to Turkey, Anatolia, some part of the soul of the bodily fluid goes to Australia, okay, and keeps on traveling, just waits for a suitable newborn body to reincarnate again and again and again. I don't actually mean the teachings of Buddhism, Hinduism, like reincarnation or reaching up to nirvana sort of religious teachings by using the word reincarnation, but it's recycling. The bodily fluid is absolutely recycling and finding itself a suitable form, body. I don't know what sort of a large scale it can reform itself. Is it limited to human, or is it extended to animals with lungs and breathing, or is it like also including stones, inorganic substances, sands, water, you know. But the fluid is absolutely, the bodily fluid is absolutely our own. Listen to me very carefully. It's not what I see when I look at the mirror, who I am. The origin of me is my bodily fluid. Frontal lobes of the brain, lungs, the fluids of the lungs, they are all different electrolyte related, magnetic, phosphorus related substance. The fluids I'm talking about. The fucking ancient Egyptians knew all of this. Otherwise, there would be no way to give a breathing permit to a dead person. And stupid Westerner scientists, Egyptologists, didn't get the meaning of that cultural practice, what they wanted to achieve 5,000 years ago, or what they achieved. We don't know. Because the bodily fluid is somewhere else and it has nothing to do with the mummified body. Okay? There is another word that we should know. This sa of Turkish and sa of ancient Egyptian. That is to be alive in Turkish and to mummify. The mummification, name of the mummification process in ancient Egyptian language. Sa, sa. There is another saying in Turkish which is critically meaningful and eye-opening. So this saying is the expression of your condolences when there is a deceased person in the family or in the neighboring places, homes. You express your condolences by saying, Başınız sağ olsun. Now I will type it here. Whoever watches this live later will also be able to follow the notes on the chat window. So, başınız, okay, başınız sağ olsun. Başınız sağ olsun. I will explain to you this expression. The established meaning of this is actually wrong, even in Turkish. It has a forgotten meaning now. Because başınız sağ olsun, the expression of your condolences to the family members, simply means baş is your head, okay? Baş is your head. Sağ means alive, as we already seen it. Olsun means may it be, a wish, a will. So it's simply translated as, or literally translated as, may your head be alive. What an interesting translation it is. I don't know any other culture, living or dead, any other language in the world, who says to the deceased's family, başınız sağ olsun. Now, this meaning, this expression of condolences in Turkish has lost, I don't know how long ago, has lost its original meaning. Because the word should not, the expression is not başınız sağ olsun. But its origin is, you can ask to your Turkish friends. I'm sure you have Turkish linguist friends, they will confirm it, okay? The origin of the expression of condolences is başınız sağ olsun. And fuck, this is amazing, this is fascinating, this is unbelievable. Because what it means is this: may your brain be milked. Başınız sağ olsun is the origin of başınız sağ olsun, which means may your head, may your brain be milked. Now please tell me, guys, whoever is watching this alive, or whoever will watch this afterwards as a video, is there any one other culture in the world, in the history, that you know has something to do with the brain, with milking, and after the corpse, after the deceased, with the brain of the deceased to be milked? Any other culture than ancient Egyptians and Turks? In practice, after the fully Arabization 1,000 years ago, in practice we don't do it now. So we don't mummify our dead, you know, we don't do it. But anyone living in Turkey, anyone speaking Turkish, anyone talking Turkish, says başınız sağ olsun. May your head be alive. May your head be alive. Isn't it interesting, weird? The person is dead, but you wish, may your head, the head in that sense means the individual's head that you talk to, the deceased's head at the same time, and the father or the ruler of the family as the head, you know, may your head be alive. This is the wrong use. This is with the forgotten meaning. Look at it. Başınız sağ olsun, the second version, means may your head be milked. So the brain, what do you call it in English? Let me remember. Brain fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid, CSF. Cerebrospinal fluid. The fluid that is the brain is within the skull. The brain located within the skull in this fluid, cerebrospinal fluid, and also the fluid in the glands of the brain, inside the brain, lobes, is you. You are that fluid. You are not this body when you look at the screen or the mirror. Ancient Egyptians knew this very well. That's why they dried fully, completely devoted the dead body, extract the bodily fluid out into jars, applied a chemical or a series of chemical formulas into the bodily fluid, preserved, protected in the jars, within the jars, to keep the fluid alive. And I don't mind, I'm not into whatever after they did. I'm not into it now. All I am into now is it's the fluid. And the fluid is immortal because at the end it is a part of the atmosphere, it is a part of the waters of the planet Earth. And now remember, 70% of a mature person's body is of water. 70% of the planet Earth is of water. 70% of the human brain is of water. 70 days application of mummification process. 70, 70, 70. And it means in Turkish, 70, the equivalent, the translation of the word 70 in Turkish is 70. And 70 has two meanings. One, 70, number 70. Second, it is full. It is enough. It is totally enough. It is complete, 70. I had enough of it. It means, bu bana yetti. I had enough of it. 70, 70. So, there are far, far, far beyond meanings to uncover, you know. And it's the first time in the history of mankind, after the fading of ancient Egyptian culture, it's the first time in the history of mankind I'm revealing to you that your bodily fluid in any means is immortal. Your bodily fluid is in any means immortal. So we are actually immortals. But with the Abrahamic teachings practices, what happens to us is we are split into pieces and we are in Rome. We are roaming freely in the atmosphere. And for I don't know how long, 3.5 billion years, when the first time by the meteorites, the cubic icy waters came to this planet Earth, the amount of water has never changed since then. For billions of years, there is no little change in the amount of water. So this means water cannot go out of the dem küre, there is atmosphere. So we are within this atmospheric circle, dem küre döngüsü içindeyiz. And in the very old ancient knowledge, they knew we don't die. Yeah, it was a pleasure for me to introduce you the chemical reality of immortality. Maybe this is the initial beginning of a series of shows. I don't know. There is a little interest in this first live, but I think the number of the statistics will increase after the video is on my list. So there will be more and more interest. And it is an absolute fact that this will trigger a dramatic fall, a collapse of the fucking Abrahamic teachings, which have injected to our minds, to our brains for 2,000 years that we only have one chance. We live only for once. And afterwards, the birth, death, and resurrection, an eternal life. An eternal life means no life. Very simple, very basic. An eternal life means no life. So you have only one chance according to Abrahamic teachings, which is not true. And this injection of satanic, Abrahamic satanic idea into our minds had great, terrible consequences in the history of mankind. We killed each other, maybe only because we thought we will live only for once. We don't have another chance. So it's my one and only chance to take the pleasure of those lands, or the taste of that thing, whatever it is, the gold, the women, the wealthiness, the richness. I want to have it, I need it, because I don't have another chance. Who injected this idea to us? Abrahamic religions. One. Only for one time. Now what we see, bodily fluid, is not dying, but it's with the wrong practice of funerary traditions. The bodily fluid of us, which is making us, is going into the ground and being splitted into million pieces. Little evaporized balloons freely roaming in the air. It says it's me, this says no, it's me, the other one says no, none of you, it's me, and we say deja vu. Why? Because our parts forming me, my parts forming the total me, is freely on air and traveling and touching to oceans, to nature, to peoples, to cemeteries, to hospitals, to peoples, to business places, touching, traveling, and coming to me, and I say, touching to me, crushing on me somehow, and with the traces of it, I say to myself, oh, wow, I feel weird. I haven't been here before, but it comes to me like I was here before. And I know what it is there. And it's freely roaming, traveling, wandering. Pieces of me. Because why? Trilogy, remember? Unbreakable, split, glass. So my parts are traveling. That's why I am having the feeling of deja vu. Or there are many other extremely spiritual, deep stories that you all know. Maybe you are a part of it. Anyway, I don't mind what specific identity I was in the past. I don't mind what specific identity or person bodily I would be in the next round, in the next tour. I don't mind it. I am totally in the now. I'm totally, completely in the now. I know who I am, and the 50% of the knowledge is established with me. I know that I am immortal. So the rest of the 50%, the rest 50% is a chemical formula. Potassium, sodium, phosphorus, magnesium, chloride, sulfate, and some minerals and vitamins, electrolytes, you know, to keep the bodily fluid alive. But the initial first 50% is awakening. I am not dying. I am water. Now, as I did, I have to say bye now to you, friends. But before we leave, I want to play the vocal code of Bruce Lee again. And this is another round, another combat, as I did in the previous week with Turkish friends in Turkish. So this is my combat. Second combat again. Bruce Lee and Kami Kartal is in the fight. Bruce Lee says, this. Listen to him.
This is what it is, okay? I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
This is what Bruce Lee had said, and my response, the counter-attack in the fight against Bruce Lee is this: I am water. I am immortal. I'm the one who killed death. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to type, text me. And as promised, I will make a multilingual translated professionally subtitled video, a documentary of this with the evidences, with the proofs, and we'll publish it in a week or so. You can follow with my next sessions. And depending on your interest, incoming requests, we may have new lives with Egyptologists, with learned people like you. And we have to go on to this. We are not dying. Abrahamic religions are fucking us. This is the thing that you should know. Thank you again for your time, and with my best wishes to you all. See you soon. Bye bye, friends. Türkçe güneş dilidir. Turkish is the sun language.